probably in 50s, 60s, 70s, the field was still dominated by names. I am a Rogerian. I do, I follow Albert Ellis, REBT, or Minuchin, or Satir. It was much more led by these greats in the field. And they certainly had a lot to contribute. But there was so much attached to their persona that I think has some positive things, but it also, becomes a negative. As we talked earlier, you don't want to become someone else. You want to become yourself. My father's memoir that he published recently, Becoming Myself. It's a nice title. You don't want to become, and even Roger said, I don't want people to become Rogerians.
Yeah. Jung famously said, thank God I'm not a Jungian. At least that's been attributed to him.
Right. So I think moving from individual, therapist names to approaches, I think that's a potentially positive thing. And I think it's good to learn, there are different things that, these different approaches have to offer. On the other hand, I think there's a downside to this over focus on evidence-based therapy. I understand the desire. Let's not just, do anything. And let's try to find what works best. On the other hand, a lot of the focus now is on finding evidence-based protocols or evidence-based treatment or cookbook approaches. And there's something pseudo-scientific about it, because the actual evidence of the good research that's done over and over again keeps showing that by and large, it's not the individual approach that has the most explanatory power. It's these common factors, most importantly being the therapeutic relationship. So if you're really going to be evidence-based, if you're really going to be scientific about it, I think that's the direction the research should continue to go in. What are the qualities that make great therapists? What are the types of things we can do that get better results over time, and not so much focused on teaching, okay, I have to learn this protocol and this protocol and this protocol. I think there's something to be said for that, and I think it's worth continuing to look at, but I think right now, it's not all good.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, the managed care, not managed care, the evidence-based. I think we share a bit of a bias coming from a humanistic background of that it sounds kind of mechanistic to have to march through that kind of process. On the one hand, I'm very pro-science in a lot of ways, and on the other hand, there's something about the essence of what it is to be a human being that seems special and needs to be treated with some honoring of the uniqueness. And so I've been surprised in the interviews that I've done. I think I've been surprised to the degree that people are actually taking it up. It kind of was a mandate from APA. And my private thought was, well, people will pay lip service and they'll just do whatever they're going to do. And I have been impressed in my interviews that clinicians are studying the literature, and they're, in the interview, they're citing these studies that support one thing or another. And I think that's a good thing, so. So it's kind of a balance that one, I think, has to find.
I think where some kind of thought leaders and research is going that I like, Scott Miller and
yes,
a colleague and friend of mine, Tony Rumanier, who I believe you interviewed, are looking at the research on deliberate practice, which is a study of what makes experts in all fields, what makes expert athletes or musicians or chess players, and beginning to apply that to the study of psychotherapy. What makes expert therapists? What makes therapists that get, by and large, the best results.